Okay, sorry. My microphone was turned off. Is that better? I'm going to bring that up front. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good. Thank you. Yeah. See, here's my microphone. Thanks. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Hello, Tracy and Tim. Thank you for coming in. There's Jane Doe. She has seen pictures of the things that I'm going to be showing tonight. I'm going to wait a little bit because I wanted to let you know. Thank you, Robbie and Sonia, for coming in. The people of Kelley's Country Life, I've followed their channel for a while, and I made them some knitted hats, of course. And I also sent them some pot holders and dishcloths and different things like that. And one time I was on one of their lives, and I said I wanted to bless each one of them with a blanket to cover up with. They're in northern Florida part, and yes, they do get snow. I know they're not going to need these blankets right now, but winter will come again. Everybody knows that. But yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful. I've been working on learning some new crochet type things that I do. And Jane Doe, thanks to her, said I would be able to do this. Hi, Virginia Alexander. Thank you for coming in. She says, you already know how to do the rectangular granny square. She says, you can make some blankets that are just square. So I've made some of those. I've made 3 of them so far. Yep. So that's what I've been doing is making granny squares. And there is Susan at Herb and Bucket Homestead. Thank you for coming in. So good to see you all. But I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to show, I got to let you guys know something. Farm All and Fords, thank you for coming in. Is it me? You should be able to hear me. You might want to check something. Because everybody else said they can hear me. Is everything okay? Can you all hear me? Just give me a thumbs up. Just make sure. But everything should be okay. I hear you. Okay. Thank you. That's good. That's good. Thank you very much for letting me know that. I know at one point I had my microphone off, but I had made some rectangular granny square blankets for some babies. Loud and clear. Thank you. You can hear me now. That's good. But I wanted to show you the baby blankets that I had worked on. This is a rectangular one. Yes, please smash the like button for me. Let me open this up. This one's more of a rectangular size. It does have, I think this is one I was working on. Hi, James at the Shade Tree Cook. This one does have, let me get that. It does have some pink in it, but it has blue also. So I now have you got my size. Yes, I could make one your size. But that would not be a baby blanket. That would be a throw for an adult. But did you see this, Red Dirt Rooster Road? This is the sticker you gave me that I put on my bottle. Yes, this is one of the rectangular baby blanket that I made. These ones, of course, take me a little bit longer, but they're that wide by this long. But if one of my moderators wants to go over and get my new email, it's going to be a whole lot easier. It's my channel name. It's just RebeccaTouchedByYarn@gmail.com now on my channel, so that you guys can get in touch with me instead of having to do that really long one that I have. Yes, that is my new email. And it'll make things a whole lot easier on everybody. And that is in my About page now. I'll take care of that. I will take care of that. There we go. Next time you type, baby, not me. Some information on the place. Okay, not a problem. I hope you can make it, Robert, because I would love to meet you. That would be so great. But this is one of the baby blankets that I did. But yes, this is my. It's going to be a whole lot easier. And thanks, Donald and Lisa, for coming in. Money Pit Homestead. Yeah, they. I haven't. I want to. With the baby blankets, I want them to email me if anybody wants to purchase one of these. So that's one of those. And there's Ruby at Rushing Wind Mountain. That was a great premiere when I finally got in there. I really enjoyed your premiere, Ruby. And here is, now this one is totally, no, it's not. But this one has, I did that variegated pink in the middle. And then I did this yellow and then a green. And then I did this yellow. And then I did a darker green and then this very soft white on the edge. So that is the next rectangular. I've only done 2 of these. Yes, I am definitely feeling much better. And this is the second. Yeah, I should. Hi, Simple Acres. Yeah, this is these are the 2 rectangular. Okay, can you guys hear me? I don't know why that muted. I don't know why it did that. Hi, Judy Herman. Thank you. It muted right on the StreamYard, and I didn't hit nothing. Thank you for that 5x5, James. So that's those 2 rectangular ones, and these are the 3 2, and number 3. There they are. Okay. So this is the, these are going to be these are 30 by 30. And this one is nothing but, it's okay, Judy. But this one is all blues and some white. So that's the baby boy one. This yarn, where is it? This yarn here, there's a variegated, but it's kind of a blue and gray variegated that's in there. But these are 30 by 30. So these are, of course, you know, for like a newborn. So there's that one. Let's see. Okay, here's the next one that I did. Keeps muting that. Let me try something. Audio. Hello. Hello. Yes, there it is. Okay. I don't know why StreamYard keeps doing that. Keeps muting that mic, because this one is the one that's hooked up. So this one is a baby girl. It has yellow and pinks in it. So that's like an off-white. Let's see if I can get the colors in here. So this one's a 30 by 30, this one is. And here's the last one that I just finished today. This one has that variegated green, and then I did a white. Then I went back to the variegated green. Then I did this pink. See if I can get you to be able to see that pink. And then this is a very soft white that I put on the edge. Thank you, Jane Doe. Just a very, very soft baby blankets. And this is just a granny square that you just keep going around. There is one thing that I have, you know, in learning how to do the granny squares, is every time you start a new row, you have to flip it and go back the way that you came. You know, the way you came around, then you go back that way again. There was one person that was talking about on another live that their squares weren't square. So I was telling them this is what I was taught, that is you have to flip it and turn. So I haven't seen, and it's okay. You know, they'll get to see this, but here's I'm going to take Andrew and Tiffany are their names at the Kelley's Country Life. If one of my mods want to find their channel, so everybody can go. I watched when I first started following Kelley's Country Life. They live in Florida, and they had a barn-dominium built, and then instead of having a contractor come in He'd never done this before, but he decided to build his own home. That's what he did. There was certain things that he did not do. And of course, he didn't do the HVAC and all that other stuff, but he ran plumbing. He ran the electrical. He didn't do the sheetrock. Andrew didn't. But yeah, he built his home. I thought it was really kind of interesting, and that someone would take that on and do that. But I'd noticed that in their home they had a throw and they only had one, and I wanted to be able to do this for them. So here we are. Here's one of the blankets. Thank you so much, Jane Doe. But this is a rectangular, the homestead garden or garage. Good evening, everyone. Ryan here. Oh, okay. Farm to table. This is the throw. Your son built his own home. Wow. But this was some yarn that I had gotten from the senior center. And this is the blanket that I made. This is just different kinds of yarn that I used. And this does have, it is a wool blend. Homestead Garage. Yeah, this is the blanket that they're going to be getting. This section right here, down here, is called, let me get my hand there. This section here is called homespun that I put around there. It's a different kind of yarn, but yeah, this is one of the blankets. And it's definitely big enough to cover yourself up with. You never did? Well, that's what I was taught when I was doing this. I guess I didn't notice that I hadn't strung that in, but I will definitely get that taken care of. Yeah, that's one of the blankets. Is official now. He put out his first video on Homestead Garage. Oh, wow. That sounds like great. So there's that one. And here's the other one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to click on that link and go over there and subscribe. And here is the other one. Kind of the same colors. You filmed it yesterday now. I have to edit. But what I ended up doing is I got to a certain point that I didn't want this any wider. So what I ended up doing was on each end, I did this crochet, this crochet stitch where I did half doubles, double, and this special, it's not a triple, but it's just my special stitch. There we go. But yes, these are the two blankets that are going to be going to Kelley's Country Life. Is Andrew and Tiffany. No. Yes, if you want to drop your link in my chat, you StreamYard will drop it, or not StreamYard, but Nightbot. Type yarn. There is no nothing in front of it. It's just yarn. And if you want to know what your weather is, type weather and your zip code. There we go. Please connect with each other. But there's the Bud Files. Hello. Thank you for coming in tonight. And there is their link for the Homestead Garage and his weather. Here I go. 652. There's. Wait for yours to. Huh. That's strange that your weather didn't show up. There it is. And here's mine. Now this is a little bit north of where I live. Yeah, 68. Blowing from the south at 10 miles an hour, and current humidity is 44. And Wichita Falls, conditions are sunny with a temperature of 80. The wind is blowing from the south at 16 miles an hour, and current humidity is 37. I think it's because there wasn't a space before the zip. Oh, okay. You forgot the space. Yeah, Nightbot really kind of keeps the chat going and lets people know what's going on. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the thumbs up, and thank you, Jody Herman, for reminding them to do that. But I am working on another blanket that is another rectangular granny square that I was going to make for myself, but I've decided to make these throws, and it is a 20% wool with 80% acrylic yarn. You know, so it is going to be. Hi, Barb. It bends over acres. I love that channel name. I really do. I met Barb through Nick at AZ Highland Homestead. And it was because of his chat that one of his moderators was asking if I was going to do a channel, and I had no plans on it at all. And there's Fuzzy Adventures 1990. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, I wanted to show these blankets that I have finished and be able to let you guys see what I've done. You know, on that week that I didn't go live, I wasn't feeling well, but definitely feeling a whole lot better. And my physical therapy has really helped me, that I'm definitely not in so much pain now. You know, I have definitely determined that when you don't move, you hurt. You've got to constantly keep moving. You really do. You know, you're going to be in trouble. I think my cat wants to come over and see me. She's kind of looking at me. Oh, no, baby. No, baby. Go. I have, you know, Tracy, I have just started learning to crochet. And, you know, it doesn't mean I'm never going to learn how to do it. You know, it's making it from a pattern. It's, you know, I've never read a pattern. Yes, I did these. This is from these blankets are from a pattern, you know, and as time goes on, maybe I will learn how to make a poncho. I'm not discounting being able to do that, or making a shawl for myself, and hi, Jennifer. I sure hope that someday you're going to get your package. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. No, my cat is a male and he's been fixed. So there isn't going to be any kittens here at my house. Unless some wild cat on my property has some kittens and stuff like that. No, I don't want any. I don't want any kittens. They're a lot of work, to teach them how to do what they need to do. That depends on what your pain is from. If it's nerve pain, you can overdo it. Yes, you can, because yes, on my right knee, I had back in 2006, I had a procedure that's called a patella realignment or a fulcrum. When I fell when I was 9 years old in Mexico, my growth plate shifted forward. So on my left leg, I have this bump. What they did is they pushed it back, and where the muscles that go through the front are off to the side. So yeah, I feel those nerve endings sometime. But the problem that I was having is, and James knows this, I don't get up enough. I don't get up and move around and things like that, of make sure I'm keeping myself strong and doing exercises. And the PT has really helped, because the swelling has gone down in my right knee from what it used to be. So I have been doing those exercises that he has given me, and this Thursday will be my last time going. He's just going to make sure that I know all of the exercises that I'm supposed to do to keep up with, getting better, so I'm not in so much pain. Because there's a lot of times when before I did those exercises, that I couldn't even stand very long. And now I can. Not very long. No, not a long time, but it's definitely has gotten better. It's still, I still have pain, but it's not as bad. So you got to work on it and stuff like that. And I definitely have been. Press that you continue to recover. I certainly will. It's hard to believe that I went up to my post office box, and that's one other thing I want to let you guys know, is that if you do want to mail me anything, I'm going to go up every other Saturday to check my mail, and see what's in my mailbox. And that P.O. box is on my about page, in my more section. So if there's anything that you want to send me, send it to that P.O. box instead of my home address. And I do know there's some people in here that do have my home address, but I would rather it go to my P.O. box instead. It's much safer there, and things like that. Yes, it certainly did help. I was a little bit concerned, because I knew in the past when I had done physical therapy, I was always in a lot of pain. After I'd go away from there, I'd be in pain. And this young man, Grant, was really, was listening to what my problems were and what needed to be done to make my recovery, so that I could do what I need to do. Hi, farm wife. Thank you for coming in. So that I wouldn't be in so much pain, where I could be able to stand and wait in line where I'm not hurting. I still have to think about how long I'm out if I'm walking, because it still does, I still get fatigued, because You may not believe this, but I will be turning 65 in July. Yeah. Everybody looks at me and they go like, no. And I'm like, yes. In fact, when I drove up there to the post office, I now have my Medicare, my Medicaid, my Medicare card now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to really happen. But, you know, it's been really a lot of fun. You know, learning these different exercises that has helped, that has made my knees not hurt so much. You know, and definitely is really nice. You know, so I'm telling everybody, exercise, get up, move around, do something, because you're going to start hurting and start swelling and stuff like that. There we go. But yeah, Farm Wife, if you want to drop your link, type the word yarn. There is nothing in front of it. It's just yarn. And your link will be dropped. My sister just retired at 65. Well, they classified me as disabled in 2017. And because of all the different health issues that I have, you know, with my knees and stuff. And yeah, it's like, I'm not saying I'm retiring, because, you know, I'm still making blankets and, you know, and doing things. And I used to it. So you don't lose it. Yes. You've got to use it. You certainly do, you know. And hi, Jason at Okies Eden. Thank you for coming in tonight. Wow, I've got 20 people in here. Wow, that is so great. But, you know, and you don't know, you know, Andrew and Tiffany may be in the background and just don't want to come in to chat. And that's okay, you know. Maybe they have seen their blankets, and if they haven't, they'll be able to watch this later and be able to see their blankets and stuff. And I'm going to be shipping them out to them this week, you know, when we go into town on Thursday. Yes, I do know your real name. I see you in other people's channels and they say, hi, Jason. Yes, I do know your name. You know, and thank you so much for being here. You know, I love to bless people with what I make, you know, and if they want to help with shipping or with yarn, I do have PayPal. Yeah. You know, I try to learn everybody's first name, you know. Jane Doe doesn't want her first name out there, and I won't do that. She knows that. Yeah. All I know is I enjoy talking to all of you and, you know, and getting to know you better. Thank you so much. You know, I just, you know, I used to be a person that always stayed in the background, and, you know, I'm trying to get more comfortable with being around people. I was a very shy person. I'm not so much anymore. I know the first time that I went to the, it was the meetup at Tin Killer, Mid-America meetup. I sat on one of the benches in the back and really didn't talk to much people. There was people that came back there and talked to me, but I did not get out and go and leave what I was doing and go talk to people, you know? Yes. Yeah, it's in fact, I seen Okies Eden in oh my gosh, whose live it was. I know it was today that he was in a live, so I remembered what his name was. Yeah, I don't forget a face either. And Rushing Wind Mountain is Ruby. I got to know her name by Peaceful Daz, and things like that. In fact, she's got one of my hats. Going to MT. I wish I could go to MT's Mid America, but because I am the only driver, that is way too far for me. So the two meetups that I'm going to be going to is the one at 10 Killer and the one here in Missouri. That'll be the only two that I go to. And in fact, I'm going to probably let this out of the bag because I've been asking who would come to just like a potluck meal here in Columbia, Missouri. Like there's a Finger Lake State Park that's not that far from my house. Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, there's a place called Finger Lake State Park not far from my house. And I'm thinking about doing this next year around Labor Day weekend, or maybe just before it, where everybody can bring like a meal and, like a potluck type thing, and just kind of talk and get together and get to know each other. My brother and I are going to have to rent a U-Haul van to get to 10 Killer because the car I have is having some is burning oil, so I'm just having to do what I can do to keep it going until I know where that park is located at. Oh, you do? Wow. It's not that, I live off of Highway 63, but yeah, it would be really great, where we could just go to Finger Lake State Park and, and have a picnic. Met Johnny a few times. He is a great person. He really is. All the people that I have met have been absolutely great. From me to you. Yeah, I bet it is. I travel to Columbia often for work. But yes, I live right off of, I can hear Highway 63, from where I live. It definitely would be great. And I know that there's people that are in Texas that would make it a little hard, but I honestly think it would be great, where my brother and I would, do some things here where we live. I just want to see what everybody thinks about that. Are you, like come in on Friday and there's Karen. Hi, Karen at Flash Ministries, and Brandon Cross. Thank you for coming. But yeah, I've got some blankets that are going to go to some friends for my autograph. So this is one of the blankets that is going to, I'm going to do this just halfway, but this is one of the blankets that's going to Tiffany and Andrew at the Kelley's Country Life. These are some throws that I made for them, and that's one of them. Here's the other one. Just going to open these halfway so you guys can see them. There's that one. Yeah, type yarn in the chat and you'll get your links dropped. So that's the two blankets that are going to be heading to Florida. Thank you, Ruby. But yeah, those beautiful blankets. And moved to Michigan. Feelings forever. Wow. You're even moving north. And I'll show these baby blankets again. This is a 30 by 30 for a baby girl. I'll hold that still so you guys can see that. This one I just finished today. I do know of some, I know that MT Homestead's got a grandchild coming. This is another one. There we go. Here's this one for a baby boy. And then these two could be for, from renting to owning. Wow. And this one's a rectangular granny square. It's just done differently. So that's this one. Huh. Someone just said, hi, Whistle Stop. Hi, Ed. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Farm Wife. But yeah, this is another rectangular that I did that has greens and variegated that has pinks in it. But you know, you really can't see it that much. Wow. I've been on here almost 45 minutes. These lives go by fast. But yes, that was a nice interview with Minty Cactus. It certainly was. I really did enjoy getting to know her a little more. One of these blankets I finished in about a day and a half because I was just working on it really hard. I used my color changing mug this morning. Ed, thank you. Oh, you made it, Minty Cactus. That is so great to see you here. But yeah, I make these rectangular granny square baby blankets and just regular square baby blankets. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely great. Hey, got a praise report. No more taking blood pressure meds. Thank you, Lord. Oh, most definitely. I've never had a high blood pressure problem. I know my doctor wants to put me on statins, thinks that my cholesterol's too high, and I don't. That is so awesome, Tracy. That really is. So these two are the rectangular granny square ones. And then these ones are just square 30 by 30. that I made, for like a newborn. I know that I've been, let Ryan, let your brother know about these, so that I can send one for the new baby that's coming, so that he can see these beautiful little baby blankets. I think if I had a choice of these, I think this one would probably be my favorite, because that is like a very pale yellow. And there's Dark Lord Minman. Thank you for coming in, Xander. So good to see you, my friend. But this color is like it's a yellow. There you go. So you can see that. Yeah. Karen at Flash Ministries, she was the recipient of my very first California King blanket. I finished that thing in 2.5 months, and it was a puffed seashell stitch. And then I made her another smaller one that she could throw over herself in the same colors. Just absolutely, it has been amazing. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, Xander, in here, and I'm so glad you're here. It's been good seeing you, my friend. But yes, I have been finally I want to make a whole lot of baby blankets, so as people get in touch with me, they can I'll be able to ship out a baby blanket pretty quickly to them. Yes, his name is Xander. Yeah, and there's Minty Cactus. Everybody, Mike at MT Homestead kept saying, you need to go to Minty Cactus's channel, and I finally did. I had subscribed to you, and then when I went back over there, I wasn't subscribed anymore, so I had to resubscribe and started watching your lives. And I love walking down our gravel road and just finding rocks that are on our gravel road where we live. They are so beautiful. There's quarries around here that crush this rock, and but yeah, I'd like to look at rocks too. Yeah. Wow. But yes, these baby blankets are I don't either, Xander. I don't at all. Yeah, I can understand that Fuzzy Adventures. I really can. It makes it hard to get to all of them. But whenever I'm like working on one of these blankets, people are like, I'll go in there and I'll say, hi, everyone. And then I don't say anything for a little bit because I'm working on, crocheting or making a knitted hat or something like that. And then I'll go back in and say, I'm still here, and doing that. I'm honestly going to be doing my first live stream very soon. Yes, please let us know so we can come and support you, because my very first live stream was very nerve-wracking. Very, I was so nervous about doing that. And of course it was like one that was on my birthday. It was supposed to be on my birthday, but I hadn't set it up. So I had to go the day after my birthday. We have 2 more grands on the way. One is a girl, and the other one we don't know yet. We'll pay you. Thank you. Yes, give me a call, and once you find out what the other one is, And I will send some pictures of these. And unless you're going to be at 10 Killer, I will probably bring these with me. I don't know if you're going to be at 10 Killer or not, but if you are, I can bring them with me. I had 4 people. Yeah, when I see someone and it pops up that they've gone live, I will go in there pretty quick. But yeah, you got a new grands coming. You got one that's a little girl, and I can take some pretty good detailed pictures. We will be at 10 Killer. Yes, I hope you will. Because what I do is these 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags. I will have the blankets in those so they stay clean. And I will also make I haven't made them yet, but I will make also a little knitted hat that will go with this. But yeah, that's what I do is I put them in these so that they stay clean. I'm not going to make Mid-America this year because it's way too far for me to drive. Get these things put away. It was during a rummage sale, Virginia. Yeah, it would really be nice if I could get to Lake Texoma, but that's clear on the Texas border in Oklahoma. I'm kind of on the east side of Oklahoma, in southeast. See here. There's another bag to put this in. I just thought this would make it kind of nice to be able to keep these clean, and people will be able to wow, 24 people in here. Thank you all for coming in. I'm not stopping yet. Yeah, between work and plus other stuff, I won't be able to go any kind of meetups. There's Troy Sutton. You're not late. You're at the time you're supposed to be here, Troy. Bye for now. Yeah, I'll talk to you later, Ruby, and thank you for coming tonight. Yeah, I'm going to put the beautiful blank. Troy, give us an update on how. Yes, how are you? And hi, Jennifer Ocean. Yeah, how are you doing? I know Troy was having some problems again. Yeah, Troy Sutton. When Ronald and I went to Mid-America at the last one they just had this last year. I can't think of it. Was Lake Eufaula? No, that's not that one. But when we went to that one, I was trying to keep it a secret away from Troy Sutton that we were going to be there. And I was able to. He even surprised me. He brought Ace up to me, and I kept saying, I know who you are, but I couldn't remember her name. And we're friends on Facebook also. I was like, oh gosh, I know you. You know, but yes, definitely surprised him. Yep, that's Ryan at Farm to Table, the Homestead Garage. I think you work on vehicles, don't you, Ryan? Like me sometimes. But yeah, it's definitely been really great. I definitely wanted to thank you all for coming tonight and being able to see what I've been working on and what is finished. I've got to tie off some of the ends on that yarn. I thought that I had finished it, but I hadn't, and get these blankets shipped out. And I will definitely bring the baby blankets with me, and so that people can, vehicles and a whole lot of other things. Project list is very long. I think, Ryan, all of us have project lists. Still sore from the fall. Throat surgery on the 10th. Still waiting for the VA to give me my permission for gallbladder and gallstone surgery. Wow. Rebecca, you and your brother have a good evening. I certainly will. My brother and I will definitely be okay. Wanted to thank all of you for being here tonight. This has been great. I hope you have enjoyed my live, and I hope you also have a blessed week, and that everyone is protected, and that we will all meet again in 2 weeks. I think the Farm to Table show will be on. I don't know if you're going to go on Easter Sunday. I will not be going live on Easter Sunday. I'm going to be spending time with my brother, and doing things that we want to do. My first time here. Thank you for coming, Minty Cactus. I hope you come back. It's been great being here, and good night, everyone. I have definitely enjoyed showing you what I have been working on. It's been absolutely wonderful. And I used to be really nervous just being up here by myself, but hey, I'm doing it now. They're talking a week off? Yes, Resurrection Sunday. And Ryan, just let me know if you want to go the next week, because I usually go the 1st, 3rd, and if there's a 5th, and since I'm not going the first Sunday, I'll probably go the 3rd. So there'll be like 2 weeks in between when I go live. But good night, everyone. May the Lord bless and keep you. And I will see you when I schedule my next live. Good night.